All right, greetings, adventurers, and well met. Master of Dungeons here on the Master of Dungeons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Master of Dungeons. It is Wednesday. It is time for some Tavern Talks with Shifty Boar. We've been going over the playtest material for playtest 7 from the Player's Handbook for next year's 1D&D 5.5 edition, whatever you want to call it. The new book's coming out for the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons next year, in 2024. We were going over the Warlock last week, and we got down here to the patrons, the Warlock subclasses. We're going to go over those today, maybe get into the Wizard as well. We're going to take a short break here in about 15 minutes, though, for about 1 minute while the nationwide emergency broadcast system goes off at 2:20 Eastern time. Got my alarm set for about 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half before it starts. So everything is going to start ringing really loudly throughout all the different things. I couldn't go through and turn off all of the different devices in the house. So we're just going to take a small break when that gets started here, about 14 minutes or so away from that, I guess. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and start talking about the Warlock subclasses. Again, this is playtest material. If you want to playtest this, use the 2014, the current 5th edition Player's Handbook to playtest all this material. You can find it on Wizards Coast D&D website. You can find it on D&D Beyond. If you join our community Discord server, which you can do down below here on Twitch in the About Us section, we do have a section in the Discord that has all of the playtest documents that have been released so far. And today, I think today or tomorrow, one of the two is the last day to input feedback from this as well. So probably not going to have a chance to get through it all today, but I'm definitely going to fill out the feedback. Probably do what I normally don't do, which is read further after we're off the stream to go ahead and turn some feedback in. Maybe we just might not even check out the Wizard. We'll just go with what we've got here. Generally, they're not going to screw the Wizards up, but they are pretty good at screwing up a lot of the other playtest classes so far. Hopefully not that much will change. We'll see. All right, so Archfey Patron for the Warlock. Patron spells from a called Expanded Spell List now lets you have spells always prepared. It includes Misty Step. Not a fan of that. I don't mind having 1 or 2 patron spells, but the whole point of playing a Warlock is that you are a Hex Eldritch Blasting character, just like a fighter swinging their sword. You only have so many spell slots. That's the whole point of being a Warlock. You have a lot of other things that you can do. People that complain about not having enough spells as a Warlock, don't fucking play a Warlock. It's that simple. They don't need to add all this extra crap for whiny babies. Misty Step is in there and expands your choices from Steps of the Fae. Godly Defenses now reacts to you taking damage. Bewitching Magic, formerly Dark Delirium, allows you to cast Misty Step whenever you cast an enchantment or illusion spell using a spell slot. All right. What the? Gave you 5 spells at 3rd level. 5. That's insane. That's stupid. Is everyone going to have, every one of the Archfey subclasses going to have that many? I don't understand why you'd have to have calm emotions. Anyway, Phantasmal Force. Steps of the Fae. Cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot. Number of times equal to your Charisma modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Let's go back over here again and open up D&D Beyond so we can see the older version. I don't remember a lot of the versions off the top of my head. I'm the Dungeon Master, like lifetime Dungeon Master. So usually I'll leave it up to the players to know their characters better than I would. I've played every edition, so it's sometimes hard to remember exactly what the rules are. So let's check out the patrons here. The Archfey. So Misty Escape So let's see, Archfey expanded spells were Fairy Fire and Sleep at first level. Second level, Calm Emotions, Phantasmal Force. Third level, Blink and Plant Growth. Fourth level, Dominate Beast and Greater Visibility. Fifth level, Dominate Person and Seeming. So what the expanded lists did before is that these spells were out of the Warlock list for you. When you chose your spells, you could choose one of those if you want. Now what they're doing is they're saying, okay, wait, we're just going to make sure that you always have these prepared. So being a Warlock is not going to be as tough now because you have more spells to choose from. You still have fewer slots, but we'll let you cast a bunch of these for free. Because the third level ability used to be Fey Presence. So that's first level. Okay. So it didn't have a third level ability. Fair enough. I'm not sure why they're all about every single class having a way to give everyone temporary hit points. As you can probably tell, I'm not in the best of moods. I'm still getting over getting sick today, so my apologies if I'm seeming a little bit harsher on some of this stuff, but I don't know. So at level 3, you're most likely going to have a charisma of, if you're using point buy, 16, 17, maybe an 18 if you're using a one of the customized races from Tasha's. So you'll be able to use your Misty Step probably 3 to 4 times a day for free without spending a spell slot. And when you teleport, you can either give somebody a die 10 temporary hit points, or you can have all these creatures within 5 feet of the space you left succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you until the start of your next turn. Hmm. Misty Escape. Now that is the level 6 Archfey ability from before. Now the difference is that the old one was when you use your action to turn invisible and teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you see, you remain invisible until the start of your next turn, or until you attack or cast a spell. Which really didn't make sense because you've already used your reaction, so you couldn't use your reaction again. But the new version, cast Misty Step as a reaction in response to taking damage. Which is only 30 feet. Hmm. I don't like that. I don't know. Just giving too many options. Patrons each have a guard, mind, and body, immune to the charm condition. That's cool. Is that switching on the stream? No. Huh, weird. Man, they're just all about, hey, let's just make Misty Step the main thing for an Archfey patron. All right. I've never played Archfey anyway, really. I mean, I've played a couple of Warlocks in 5th edition, Warlock of the Fiend and Celestial Warlock. Only one of them was a pure Warlock. The other one was a Paladin Warlock. That was the Celestial. All right, main changes for Celestial. Picking spells, expanded spells, crazy. I mean, I can just say from the get go, I'm not a fan of the patron spells now being always prepared because the whole point of the Warlock is that, and forgive me for seeming impolite if a player that plays a Warlock thinks that you're a pure caster. You're not. Warlocks aren't intended to be pure casters. That's the whole point of the Warlock. You're supposed to have limited amount of magical resources, but the resources you do, you use and they're powerful, which is why your spell slots are always a specific level as you get more powerful. Obviously, you can cast a first level spell, and with that 5th level slot, if it doesn't scale up, that's all right. It's not that big of a deal. But your main thing is Hex and Eldritch Blast. If you're a Hex Blade, instead of taking one of the other different subclasses, you fight in combat. It's just you're not supposed to have access to a bunch of spells as a warlock. That's the whole point. Now they're making it to where you have tons and tons of spells always prepared in addition to the spells that you have. Now you still have a few spell slots, but I don't know. Celestial Resilience now works with Magical Cunning. All right. So instead of having an expanded list where you start at 1st level or 5th level, and you have spells that you can add that are added to the Warlock list for you, now at 3rd level as a Celestial Warlock, you automatically get Cure Wounds, Flaming Sphere, Guiding Bolt, Lesser Restoration, Light, and Sacred Flame are always prepared for you. So you're getting 2 free cantrips as well. And they didn't do anything like that with the balance of the Archfey. That's the whole point of the balancing thing of it. It's like this playtest stuff gets put together and doesn't seem to be even close to be balanced. Daylight Revivify, Guardian of Faith, Wall of Fire, Flame Strike, and Greater Restoration. All right, Healing Light. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Was that a long rest before, or was it a short rest before? I don't remember. I don't know. The the Celestial Warlock is actually in Xanathar's, right? Don't recall the Radiant. I do remember the Radiant Soul. That is the same, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, just a couple minutes until the nationwide here in the U.S. Emergency broadcast system test. It's going to be probably pretty loud throughout my condo here because I'm not really going to have time to turn off every single device here in the house. So Let's see here. Let's go ahead and check out the Syrian Vengeance. It's probably all pretty much the same. Uh, oh, there it goes. All right, we'll be back shortly. All right, we're back. Leave it to the American government to do something, fuck it up, and start 2 minutes earlier. It's supposed to go off at 2:20 today. It might still go off here in another minute. We'll see. Oh, it's hilarious. Had my freaking watch buzzing and everything. All right. Yeah, I just thought, I don't know. It's something about the getting extra spells. Okay, if you're going to do that, then at least balance and make sure that, you're keeping in mind that the same power level of spells. I mean, yeah, it's more beneficial for a celestial warlock to get your patron spells because you actually get two of those spells that you can cast for free. Because light and sacred flame are both cantrips, so you can cast that a number of times as you want. Searing Vengeance, yep. All right, let's see the Fiend Patron next. Patron spells updated to reflect the return of packed magic. Remember, I have to say return of packed magic. This is all playtest, so it never really went away. It's kind of like fourth edition, the Dark Ages. We just don't talk about it. Dark One's Blessing now works when someone else reduces an enemy. No, I don't like that idea at all. I do like that they limit certain things to once per roll. I like that. I'm really hoping that they bring the Paladin's Divine Smite back, where it's just once a turn. Party Hands, Command, Scorching Ray, Suggestion. Again, only 4 spells, where the other ones are getting 5 or 6, and they're also not getting any cantrips. Seems like they want to give everyone Fireball or Wall of Fire or Fire Flame Strike, something. What's like, man, I can see stuff like Suggestion because it's supposed to be a fiend, um, the hells, with a devil or something like that. So Suggestion, things like that. Not sure about the Stinking Cloud, Gesh. Eh. I know some people pronounce it Gies. It's a Celtic word. It's pronounced Gesh or Geese. Some people pronounce it Geese. No, not a fan of that. That's for sure. Dark One's Own Luck. Love that. Just not really sure why they like limit force. I don't know. Are there fiends that have resistance to psychic damage or something? I'm not sure. Love Hurl Through Hell. It's a pretty fun feature. Great Old One patron. Never played one of the Great Old One patrons either. Seen other players. Obviously, seen players play those. New features, new features. Now, I get the theme with the Great Old One because you're looking at like an elder evil or an elder god like Dindar or Father Limig from like season 10 from the Rime of the Frost Maiden and some of the Dreams of the Red Wizard's previous story arc. Cthulhu, I guess, would be another example of something like that. But Tasha's Hideous Laughter, I'm not sure really why that would be in there. There was Black Tentacles. I can definitely see that and understand why that's there. Modified Memory Telekinesis. I don't know. You each must speak mentally in a language the other knows. Hmm. Wow. That's massively powerful. In addition, when you cast a warlock spell that is an enchantment or illusion, you can do so without verbal or somatic components. Hmm. See, like, it just doesn't feel right to me that this right here, because you look at this when you first see the awakened mind, you're looking at that more as a communication with you and your party members and things like that. Because it doesn't require any sort of saving through. You can automatically do it. It doesn't say that other person can resist it. You know what I mean? So now they can't resist that on that at all. But then you can also automatically make them make a saving throw while you're connected to them in order to be able to have advantage against with your attack rolls, and they have disadvantage against you with their attack rolls. Yeah, this is something that's interesting. a lot of players, and I've seen DMs not understand that Hex actually does not give disadvantage on the saving throws, as this ability here is saying it also will now with this specific ability. Um, it only does it to ability checks, not to saving throws. All right. Well, obviously, a lot of stuff in the Warlock there is probably not going to make the cut when it comes through the playtesting and all of that. Let's see if there's some design note changes on the Wizard. And yes, as we've noted last week, they are returning back to the class spell lists. Yay! Instead of the arcane, primal, and divine lists. Um, it is half past hour. We're going to take a small little break here to check on my familiar down here, and we'll be right back. Please stick around. All right, she is roaming around the apartment, so we'll just let her be. She might start whining if we hear her. She'll be okay. She's got food, everything. All right. Change a cantrip whenever finish long rest. Thank you for the follow, Vedic. Was a spellbook absorbed to the spellcasting feature? They kind of had to put that into the class because in the player's handbook, in 2014's player's handbook, the wizard spellbook is actually in the sidebar, which was very confusing to a lot of players. I understand that that's one of the things that they want to do with changing stuff, adding and adjusting stuff for the new books is to simplify it. But obviously, as you've seen in some of the previous streams, we've talked about how they're making certain things overly complicated. Um, when really they don't really have to change a whole bunch of the rules around. I'd really like to. Most of the changes I would like to see are at tier 3 and tier 4. Tier 1, tier 2, first level through 10th level, maybe 11th level. Everything is fairly balanced, mostly because that is where most of your playtesting goes. Because as we've said many a times here on our channel, and they've talked about with D&D in particular, is that the majority of your games uh, kind of fall off around 10th, 11th level, especially homebrew games, things like that. Even like your established adventures, they only write them really. I mean, look at Baldur's Gate 3 is only up to 12th level, I think, which is where most games will, kind of end or finish up. Very rarely do you have home games that are going to go on to where characters get to 20th level and continue playing at 20th level, especially because it is fairly unbalanced in 5th edition when you get late tier 3, early, and all of tier 4. It's very difficult to write to as well. Scholar places academic, expertise. We've already talked about how expertise, like for example, expertise is mostly a rogue thing with a little bit of bard, but I don't know, just trying to split things around. I mean, I get it, but not all wizards should be scholars. Not all wizards are scholars. Or a spell is not a feature rather than a spell. Not if I spell and create spell are gone. Interesting. It's exactly what I said. Allowing an at-will casting of a non-action spell such as shield is too powerful. Arcane recovery. Yep. Finish short rest. Combine spell slots. Half your wizard level. Nothing higher than 6. Spellbook. Your wizardly apprentice combines the creation of a unique book which you cast your spells. Pretty much the same. Pretty much the same thing. Changing your prepared spells whenever you finish a long rest. Change your list. Yep. Focus, pretty much all the same. Expanding or replacing your spell book. Okay. See, so what they've done is that they've instead of putting all of this information that's in this sidebar into the actual spellbook description, they put it in the sidebar again. Facepalm for wizards. SI at 4, 8, 12, 16, 19. Yep. Mm-hmm. Memorize spell. Studying your spell book for 1 minute, you can expend mental and magical effort to memorize a spell. Choose one spell of level 1 or higher from your spell book that you don't have prepared. You now have that spell prepared until you use this feature to prepare a different spell. That definitely needs some clarification. Um, it would seem that it would allow you to change out a prepared spell, but it's allowing you to prepare an additional spell to what you already have prepared. Because you can only prepare a number of spells equal to your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. They changed that. So now it's, oh, they changed it by per level now. Hmm. So they'll need to clarify that. So at 5th level, you can prepare 9 spells. Is that allowing you to, with your memorized spell feature, prepare 10 spells now? Hmm. Now all of your first at level 18, all of your first and second level spells that have a casting time of an action are always considered prepared. And you can cast them at their lowest level without expending a spell slot. Hmm. So there's a single first level and a single second level spell. And you can change them after a long rest. So you can cast Magic Missile at will. You can cast Misty Step at will. Nope, Misty Step's a bonus action, so you would not be able to do it. It'd have to be a casting time of an action. Spellmaster is very similar to what it was, or what it is right now, except they did put in the whole thing of an action. Has to be an action. The signature spell is pretty much the same as it is right now. You can always, of course, cast it once for the 2 level 3 spells, and then finish a short rest, and you can do it again. What's that compared to what it was before? Let me check that out. Pretty much the same, yeah. Okay. No change there. I've only played one wizard in 5th edition. He's a 20th level necromancer. I played a necromancer because we do play a lot of organized play, Adventurers League. We run a lot of that for the different organizations and conventions and such like that. So I played a necromancer because all the dungeon masters were afraid of necromancers because they didn't know how to deal with them. So anytime DMs are talking about something that they're not sure of, I always want to play it myself just to see from the player's perspective and help understand that better. I think I chose Animate Dead, pretty sure. And I think Vampiric Touch were my 2 signature spells for my Necromancer. Abjurer. I love the protect and ward the wards for the Abjurers. Turret Savant now adds 1 abjuration spell to your spellbook whenever you gain access to a new level of spell slots in this class. So they're going to be replacing the discount. I think the discount was used often, especially for players that focus on their subclass at level 2 on, and they're not getting that now until level 3. I apologize. I want to scroll back up here. Did I miss that? So you don't get your subclass now. They need to move that back down to level 2. Yeah, your arcane tradition was level 2. It needs to stay there because it's going to. I mean, it's going to mess with all the other previous classes. It's the same thing that I said about the consistency with the other classes. You noticed in some of the stuff we talked about in the last couple weeks on this stream about them being consistent, and you see that the new playtest. Well, we're going to roll it back to the original. That way, it keeps it balanced with those subclasses. I mean, I understand getting rid of the discount and allowing you to get a free spell of your school, but you still need to move it back. To move the subclasses back to level 2, where your arcane tradition goes, and make sure all of the level appropriate things stay at each level where they're supposed to. Let's check out the Abjurer again over here then. Because the old savant for each of the schools, conjuration, abjuration, divination, and enchantment, etc. You always had your, like, if you're an evoker, you have evoker savant, evocation savant, or whatever at second level when you get your tradition or your subclass, as they're wanting to call it. Um, the time spent and the gold spent to copy abjuration spells into your spellbook would be halved. I understand them getting rid of I can definitely understand them getting rid of that because a lot of people might, like, I don't see it was rarely used. I saw it used a lot, but being able to get some for free is pretty cool, I guess. Arcane Ward. Um, requires you to spend a spell slot to create it. Allows you to expend a spell slot without casting a spell to restore it. And Spellbreaker replaces improved abjuration. What was improved abjuration? 10th level, when you cast an abjuration spell, it requires you to make an ability check as part of the casting. Add your proficiency bonus to that ability check. See, that's what I was getting ready to say about this, was the whole thing of you always have Dispel Magic prepared, cast it as a bonus action. It takes away the ability to also use that for counterspell, it was used for counterspells by Abjurers all the time because it improves your chance to counter. All right, see what they changed to the Diviner. Obviously, the Savant's changed. Third Eye is now a bonus action rather than action. It allows you to cast the See Invisibility spell instead of having to choose between seeing the invisible or seeing into the ethereal plane. Finally, the incapacitated condition no longer shuts this feature off. Yeah, because the whole see invisible. See here. Let's see. Was the third eye do here? Bonus action lasts until you start a short or long rest. Can't use the feature again until you finish a short or long rest. A lot of the abilities too, I really like to see them add in the ability to turn it off. Like for example, this you can have you get dark vision, or you can get reading language, or you can get see invisibility. I really don't think it's a loophole that was there. There was a lot of players that would argue for that. So let's check the difference on the diviner for the third eye for its previous version. Oops. Because see invisible, I think even in the description of see invisible, it mentions that you can see things that are ethereal. Now, it doesn't allow you to see into the ethereal plane. Because the whole in the history of D&D, traditionally, basically becoming invisible was almost like becoming ethereal. A lot of that comes from the tradition. Like if you see, read obviously J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings the Hobbit, stuff like that, even the old animated shows and even the movies, like when you see Frodo put on the ring in the Lord of the Rings, everything becomes ethereal around them because that was kind of the tradition of what invisibility was in D&D in the past. But that's cool. I mean, just to get rid of the um, whole seeing into the ethereal planes, not that big of a deal. Great important, get three instead of two. Not really doing a whole bunch of change to the each one. There's only just a few minor changes here and there, but the whole the arcane traditions need to say, I'm sorry, sub wizard subclasses really should stay at second level, so that all of the other, because not everyone is going to pick a school of magic. So then you're gonna have to go through and change like your war wizard and your, the oh, what's the wizard of scribes or whatever from Tasha's. Had to change all those abilities around as well. Which obviously they're probably going to go back and say, "Oops, we're going to move that back to level two." That way, it, sticks with the other subclasses of wizard. But yeah, the savant thing, I don't mind that at all. It's actually pretty cool for what I think about it. But because it does reflect, instead of reflecting your study of that school of magic, being, because for example, it doesn't give any discounts for, like I said, the scribe, wizard scribe, or like a war wizard or anything like that. They don't get any bonuses or discounts to their spells. So this kind of reflects a better reflection, I think, of a wizard's study of that specific school of magic. You study it so much that whenever you gain, new spell slots of a level, like you get to fifth level and you learn third level spells, you get a free spell of your school because you've been studying that. And it doesn't have to be at that level. If it does say mention in the savant, the new savant ability that whenever you gain access to level spell slots, you can add one of your school spells from the wizard list to your spell book for free. So it doesn't have to be of that level. It could be a lower level one if you want to, which most times is not how players will choose it. But potent cantrip. Oops, I don't want to minimize that. The whole point of sculpt spells, I mean, I understand wanting to switch the two around. Um, but the whole point of the sculpt spells at low level, yeah, it's mainly used for fireball. But now when you're level 5 and you get third level spells, you aren't able to sculpt spells anymore until you get that one extra level. So there's really no point to switching those two around. And plus the whole concept of, you would be getting normally be getting your savant and your sculpt spells at level 2 as it is right now as an evoker. And if they move it back to the way it was before, um, the whole idea behind getting your potent cantrip at 6th level is that you've been studying magic now for 6 levels as a wizard, and you've discovered how to make your cantrips more powerful. Just switch those back around. All right, what changes they make to the illusionist? And see, they're just so inconsistent with all the different changes. Um, some abilities of different subclasses allow you to expend a spell slot. Some of them don't allow you to expend something. Some of them come back after a short rest. Some of them come back after a short or long rest. It's just the inconsistency. Hmm. Interesting. Well, we still have the spells and stuff to go to. That's not really something that's major to look at. They'll probably just made some changes that are going to make me scream or something like that because they're not consistent. Um, but that is pretty much all the classes. Like I mentioned, if you want to get this playtest material, you can get it on D&D Beyond. You can also go to the Wizards of the Coast. I think it's the dnd.wizards.com. As I mentioned before, you can also join our community Discord server. We've got all of the playtest material. If you're interested in organized play and Adventurers League as well, we have all of the documentation for that also. Um, it is close to the top of the hour, so we'll go ahead and bring the stream to a close. Thanks for stopping by today. Again, thanks for the follow today, Vidic. Appreciate it very much. Getting closer to 160. I think we're up to 159 now. Yes. 200 will be on our next go after that. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time for our dungeon delving, playing Baldur's Gate 3. We unfortunately will not have that stream on Friday, as we do have this weekend is virtual D&D weekend. We partner with Wizards of the Coast and Baldwin Games to run online. Basically, once a month, we run an online convention Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of online Dungeons and Dragons, Adventurers League, non-Adventurers League, some cool, fun Halloween stuff this weekend. I'm going to be running some stuff from the Tomb of Annihilation, some adventures that are based in Chult. And the Forgotten Realms on Friday and on Sunday. Sunday evening, actually, we're going to be normally have our live play stream at 7 p.m. We are going to be streaming a game from the virtual D&D weekend. It won't be our normal cast of characters playing Phandelver and below, but we will, of course, be back with that the following week. So yeah, we'll hopefully see some more people tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern for Dungeon Delving. Thanks, of course, to all of our patrons and supporters, especially the patrons for Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron or subbing here on Twitch, twitch.tv/themasterofdungeons. We love Prime subs as well. We also have a Prime Leap reminder up there. So once a month, if you have Amazon Prime, you want to give us you get a free monthly sub if you connect that to your Twitch, and we can definitely remind you of that every month when you come back to check us out. Of course, the link to our Patreon page as well as our YouTube channel and all of our social media accounts can be found in the About Us section below here on Twitch. If you would subscribe to us on YouTube, it's free. Like and comment on the videos. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Give us some likes, retweets, all that good stuff. Every sub, like, and share helps us immensely. You can also support us by clicking on the About Us section below and join the Master of Dungeons Discord community Discord server, where you can help shape an accepting, caring, and inclusive community. Our merch store is available as well as open. We have some t-shirts, glassware, stuff like that, some ball caps that will definitely help support the channel. And of course, we will be back tomorrow for Dungeon Delving. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy adventuring. Take care.